Fairbanks man arrested on multiple felony charges after allegedly threatening people with a gun and breaking into a home on College Road. The details we've gathered.
And a man who was reported missing in 1999 has been found. His body recovered in 2004 and identified now thanks to modern technology. What we know about his disappearance and how he was identified decades later.
The Alaska Community Foundation is beginning a fund called the Voices Across Alaska Fund after Congress cut billions in public media funding, the effort to support public media in the state.
Wow, sunshine followed the rain, but showers do stick around. The Friday and weekend forecast for you is coming up.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
State troopers now say alcohol was a factor after arresting a Fairbanks man last night following an armed standoff. They say it started after the suspect thought someone had struck his vehicle. Troopers say 62-year-old suspect Kenneth Reed Jr. barricaded himself in his residence after breaking into a home and threatening others with a gun. A woman who lives at the complex told Alaska's news source that Reed threatened her with a firearm along with her son and another man.
When law enforcement, including SWAT team members, arrived, they say Reed refused to leave his apartment. He was eventually arrested without using force.
He came down here waving his gun in our faces and threatened to basically kill us.
We had an emergency negotiator go to the scene, establish contact with him, and talk him out. Approximately 45 minutes to an hour before we resolved the situation.
I come out without a shirt on, just his pants, and he's sitting there stumbling drunk and had a beer in one hand and right up in there.
He was taken to the Fairbanks Correctional Center where he's still being held as of today, Thursday. The Public Defender Agency, which according to the court records system is assigned to this case, has no comment at this time. Transitioning now, public broadcasting cuts. Leaders from an Alaska nonprofit say they are now working to start raising funds to fill gaps from cuts and see what they mean for the state's 27 public media stations. That includes KUAC and Fairbanks. Supporters of the funding cuts argue they're necessary to stop spending tax dollars on what they view as biased public media reporting.
But the president and CEO of the nonprofit Alaska Community Foundation says rural Alaska public media stations are a matter of life and death, especially when it comes to emergency warnings and weather information.
Radio and media, it plays a very different role in Alaska. All rural communities are, very reliant on public media. But for us, we have limited road access. We have limited broadband. It plays a very different role. It's really a connection. And in the ways that people use it, it's very conversational. They're local stories.
Leaders say that the goal, after understanding what the cuts mean, is to either partner and fundraise or encourage donations to individual stations, trying to give the stations at least a year to figure out a long-term plan. The Alaska Community Foundation says they have not ruled out a plan to help stations long-term.
And human remains recovered from Juneau's Gastineau Channel more than 2 decades ago have been identified. The Juneau Police Department says it's a Juneau man who was reported missing in 1999. His name was Daryl Bruce Fawcett. He was 28 when he went missing.
Now, in 2004, JPD says a diver discovered human remains 83 feet below the surface of the water, but they could not be identified with the technology available. So using new technology, the Alaska Scientific Crime Detection Lab confirmed the remains were Fawcett.
And to some weather now. It was a sunny day here in Anchorage.
Beautiful day. Jackie Purcell, meteorologist, joining us now with the forecast. I heard her mention weekend earlier.
Yes. Well, we got to get through tonight and Friday first. I know it's so exciting to think about the weekend and a chance for some better weather. We had that rain yesterday, even some low clouds and fog hanging out through the day. But as we went through the afternoon, that sunshine was out. This is from Eagle River, Baldy. Mount Baldy, you can see some of those paragliders out there enjoying the breezes and a bit of the air currents there. Let's talk about how warm we've seen these temperatures get in Anchorage over the summer so far. 70 degrees, that's a good threshold. We've seen that 9 times officially. I'm sure that in other parts of town, it's been more frequent, but this is the location, the Sand Lake Forecast Office, where they take these measurements. So 9 days, 8 of which have been through this month. One of those 70-degree plus readings was in the month of June. So we're doing pretty good. Here tonight, we're seeing a high. We're closer, 69 degrees now. So one more degree will be up to 10 for the summer so far. And we are at 71 here in the Anchorage area, Midtown, as well as J-Bear, 73, in fact, from the Campbell Creek Science Center, seeing some lightning strikes pick up as showers increase over the Talkeetna Mountains. Still some rain in parts of Prince William Sound. There'll be less of it into the interior. Check out the beautiful conditions. This is Cleary Summit, just outside of Fairbanks, 73 degrees right there now. And we'll be seeing some rainfall move in, especially Friday night into Saturday for the South Central region, not necessarily for the interior. So just know that you have been prepared. We'll have more on the forecast. It's coming up a little bit later.
All right, so close to 70. Jackie, thank you very much. Governor Mike Dunleavy spoke today at the Arctic Encounter Symposium about plans to build a liquefied natural gas pipeline in Alaska. Attendees to the symposium included representatives and state officials from more than 27 countries.
Dunleavy has long supported the construction of an LNG pipeline in Alaska, along with President Donald Trump and Senators Sullivan and Murkowski. Dunleavy says a completed pipeline would help grow American exports of gas and could put Alaska in position to become, quote, the Panama of the North.
There are tremendous resources, whether it's renewables, whether it's wind, tidal, geothermal, biomass, oil, gas, you name it. Alaska's got all of it. We just have to ensure that we manage it the right way.
Well, Dunleavy says that conversations with potential trading partners, especially those in the Pacific Rim, have been productive. Not everyone in support of the LNG project or is in support. Former President Joe Biden at one point created a pause to LNG export projects. The Trump administration has since lifted that pause.
All righty, and let's get on to the weekend where tomorrow Anchorage School District families can get free school supplies during the annual Helping Us Give School Supplies, also known as HUGS. It's a back-to-school jam.
Back to school already. Let's go. Starting tomorrow morning, 11 a.m., the Anchorage School District partnered with the Alaska Coalition of BIPOC Educations, and they're going to be passing out free school supplies. The event takes place at Begich Middle School. It will run from, until 7 p.m. It's open to all ASD students. Last year, the event able to provide almost 3,000 students with back-to-school supplies, and this year, the aim is to help 5,000 students. All right, a quick note this week on our Active in Alaska podcast, the host, Kendall Stewart, he sits down with JT of 907 Pro Wrestling. JT says, you got to have some charisma, and you got to be in shape if you want to be a pro wrestler.
Everybody sees the flash and the fancy and the glamour out front, but what they don't see is we go through months and months of training before we even get to have our first match.
Okay.
Your cardio has to be on point. Your physicality, you have to be able to, lift people and lift them safely.
Okay.
Because, you pick a guy up, once he's upside down, if you can't hold him up there, it's kind of hard for him to keep himself safe from not spiking on his head.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Safe for one of the guys, not the other. An interesting discussion for sure for those folks interested in pro wrestling and potentially for those who aren't. Check out the Active in Alaska podcast wherever you download your podcasts.
Love that. All right, still ahead, we have an exciting segment this week in Alaska history. Join us as we jump back in time to the first North Slope oil reaching Valdez.
And if you're looking for places to go salmon fishing, you're in luck. Charlie Fellows will give us an update on fishing in Ship Creek. We'll be right back.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
Welcome back, everybody. And this week's We the People, we're looking at Alaska's history for the week of July 28th through August. And Tracy Sinclair seems to think there's a theme here. She's got the details.
Yes, we've always got a lot going on in Alaska history, but this week it seemed to center on two items, oil and bears. Lots of oil milestones with the first oil reaching Valdez through the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. We also talk about the new home for Apoon and Oreo. And it was during this week that an Australian tourist climbed 2 fences to get a picture of Binky the polar bear. There is that iconic image of Binky with the woman's shoe in her mouth. Eric Soule, our director of photography, took that video, so we talked a bit about it.
They had us all pulled up at the front gate of the zoo, which back then is the old gate now, and made us wait. And then they said, okay, you can go in and take pictures. And so all the media ran, and it's on the opposite end of the zoo. So back then, I think we were probably on 3/4 inch tape, which meant we were carrying about 55, 60 pounds worth of gear. We ran across the zoo, and we get there, and I could see Binky clearly, so I stopped a distance away while everybody else tried to run right up to in front of Binky, and that's where I got the shot of Binky with the shoe looking directly at me. Remember Mary George just going, keep going, keep going. I'm going, no, no, no. I'm getting Binky in the shoe, and I got that shot of Binky.
That is just so amazing. That is the iconic shot that we all remember. So we talk about that. We actually play the full story that we ran at that time during the attack. And so you want to check this out. You can see the full clip of This Week in Alaska History by going to our streaming platforms and clicking on the We the People tab.
We should note the person trying to get in there was okay.
We just want to say she did make it.
She did make it. But yeah, that's why you know.
And Eric didn't help, but he got a great shot.
Eric's soul. I can listen to that man tell stories all day.
Why was he at so many he has so many great stories.
He does.
That he was present for these historical moments.
You still have access to that man. Very special.
Yes,
very special. Speaking of special, now a little more recent history. Last year, it was around this time, Ship Creek in Anchorage, we had so little water that it was closed to fishing altogether. Well, this year, it's a different story. Charlie Fellows joins us with details. Charlie.
Yeah, John, from the scenes today down at Ship Creek, you'd never know that it was essentially abandoned 12 months ago due to a poor salmon run. I went down there earlier today and saw tons of people in and out of the water, casting lines or just enjoying the beautiful summer weather. And the fish were biting, too. Just in the time I was there, I saw a few of them get reeled in. Now, I talked with a guide from the bait shack that supplies lots of anglers with gear, and he confirmed that compared to last year, it is night and day.
The fishing has actually been really good. We've got so many fish, they actually upped the limit to 6. Just a lot more fish. There's a lot more fish. Last year, we hardly had any fish. They had to close the creek.
While the king salmon is past its peak, Bennett Smith told me that the creek is currently ripe with silvers and pinks. We'll have more on the scenes down at the creek today later tonight, and a reminder to always tune into our fishing reports every week to stay up to date on fishing news around the last frontier. John?
Well, it's always fun to fish. Let's check out some of our sunsets tonight for the Anchorage area at 10:39, 11:02 in Fairbanks, at 9:18 earlier for Juneau, but back to the 11 p.m. hour in Bethel at 11:23 tonight. It's better weather, too.